Hello everyone. The markets are still volatile and it's really exhausting. Frankly, it's tiring even for experienced traders. For everyone, absolutely everyone, I think many people are starting to doubt the bull market now. But I'll tell you up front this morning, I believe we'll hit a Bitcoin ATH in October. I'll explain why through various factors, including seasonality and market trends. Everything converges to tell me and to suggest a number because many give predictions, but predicting 30 years ahead, it's easy to say I see Bitcoin at 1 million in 2040. For me, my target should be taken with a grain of salt. But in any case, it's my current analysis. It sets a target for early November for Bitcoin at around $74,000. I'll explain all this. So the simplest analysis, but I think it's these kinds of data that you need to spend time on, and it will give you conviction, is that the month of October, 9 times out of 10 is in the green. And when I say it's in the green, it's in a very, very bright green. Sometimes we see 28.5%, 39, 27, 10, minus 3, here 47, 14, 33, 12, 60%. And especially the years when we had a September in the green, we have 28, 14, 33. I averaged that. It gives me a 20% increase. At the end of September, on the 30th of September, we were at $63,000 on Bitcoin. If we did a small 20%, that would give us 74,000 at the end of the month. Just looking at that, we would really have to have some bad luck. Some will say yes, but this time it's different. This time there's geopolitics. We're going to look at the stock market data. If there was geopolitics, things would be complicated right now. I don't think the financial markets would be exploding to new highs as if we were on a growth dynamic. So there you have it. So just looking at the seasonal elements, I have crunched all the numbers in relation to seasonality. Statistically, these are only probabilities, but with high success rates, in my opinion, to be taken with a grain of salt. But it's giving us very nice figures for the month. Let's go see. The map is terrible, but we need to keep that in mind, I think. And that's why I believe that right now, if I have this conviction, it's my case. I think it's still the moment to strike while the iron is hot. I know very well most YouTubers aren't making videos right now, but I'm going to keep making them at a steady pace. Now's when we earn our living. It'll be easy when we hit an ATH, when we start to explode, to make videos where we enjoy saying, yeah, now we're aiming for 10x, 20x. To achieve those 10x, 20x gains, it's now. I know people don't have much liquidity, but even with limited funds, I think there are still huge opportunities. Interestingly, there was a Fed meeting in September, none in October. Yesterday, after US markets closed, we got the Fed's minutes. The tone was mixed. We'll see how markets react at open. They'll have the price index and Fed minutes to consider. Talk suggests we won't see a 0.5 rate hike. The market expects a 0.5 drop in November. They're quite greedy. They've hinted we might see a 0.25 rate change instead. They also mentioned a factor: the upcoming presidential elections. Ironically, the Fed meeting is scheduled right after Election Day, so this could have an impact. Regarding the elections, I think it's bullish. I'm no political expert, but the numbers speak for themselves. Trump's leading with 53.3 to 46.1. If this trend intensifies over the coming days and weeks, the market will be almost 100% certain that Trump will win. If we start seeing 60-40 splits, there's a concept often called swing states, where in the US you have states that are solidly Democratic, some that are firmly Republican, and you have those that fluctuate without a fixed allegiance and can pivot depending on the election. There are 6 identified swing states. You see 3 for Trump, 3 for Harris. The big difference is when Trump wins, it's decisive. Arizona 67, 33, 64, 36, 54, 46. So there are significant margins, while Kamala Harris is only at 51, 49, 52, 48. So we think that in these states, if he takes the lead in just one of these 3 swing states, statistically he has a much better chances of winning in swing states. Based on what we see, he just needs to win one of these 3 states. And the other 3 seem much easier to secure, even though this one doesn't show a big difference. So for me, this is also bullish for the markets. The elections are only on November 4th or 5th, but bets and estimates will increase. If it amplifies in Trump's favor, I don't know, maybe as early as next week, we'll know with high probability that Trump is likely to win. Moving on to matters closer to home regarding the Nobel Prize in Physics, it's interesting that it was awarded to John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton for their work on machine learning, which is in artificial intelligence. Nobel Prize in Physics, followed by the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, also to people working on intelligence, artificial intelligence. It's truly incredible what's happening right now. We're learning that in the AI startup sector, funds have invested nearly $12 billion just in the third quarter alone, which is absolutely massive. Then there's VanEck, launching a $30 million fund for crypto and AI. When we think crypto and AI, we think of Tau. Did VanEck buy some recently? But really, artificial intelligence is the sector that's showing great performance right now. We'll see that some tokens are getting very expensive, especially Tau, which is leading the pack. However, RWA hasn't shown much during this bull market yet. Bitcoin options will launch, signaling Bitcoin's entry into modern finance. Like stocks such as Apple or Microsoft, Bitcoin will have options, derivatives, and various related products. Usually, option trading volumes exceed those of the underlying assets, which will likely lead to greater market impact. This might cause even more dramatic price swings in the future. However, as we're expecting a positive phase in 2025, I believe this will accelerate the bull market. Ethereum Layer 2 scroll, which we've discussed recently, is the latest L2 launching on the 22nd. It'll be available on major platforms like Binance, happening very soon. I think the timing is spot on. By late October, we should see a nice trading opportunity. Interestingly, Gary Gensler, law students and a former SEC commissioner, they discussed the Howey test, often used to determine if cryptos are securities. The article notes that the Howey test was established by the US Supreme Court in 1946. And here, the former Fed commissioner tells him, honestly, you're not going to try to apply new cryptocurrency regulations for this new technology based on something from the 1940s. So what do we see here? Short term, I'm bullish for late October, given polls and Trump's lead. If he really takes the lead in the polls, markets won't wait until November 5th to react. So I'm optimistic. However, we can't ignore short-term risks. It's that I often say moving averages are interesting for trends, but they're also support and resistance levels. Unfortunately, we're closing below all moving averages now. Short term, I could be very bullish, but it's risky. Imagine we hit 52,000 then drop. That'd be the last thrill. That would be the final rush. But for now, we can't ignore this short-term pattern. What also makes me bullish is Bitcoin's long consolidation. I was just checking, it's been 225 days. That's nearly 7 months. We entered late February. Look, 225 days. What's the target? 365, the longest range in asset history. Interestingly, Total 3 didn't forget it. This resistance was also significant. It was tested about a dozen times. Here we hit it and pulled back. Even with a small second pullback, I think we've broken a key area. Yes, we're falling again here. We might recover or we might fall again. But we hit it so much before breaking through. I see good support here. This is Total 3, all altcoins except Bitcoin and ETH. I'm closely watching 2 projects right now. We talked about Casper. For me, it's clearly in the buy zone. The greedier ones might wait for 11 cents or under 12 cents, but we're reaching a nice area now, unless the project is finished. I see a great pullback here. I entered for the first time here. For me, this is a perfect scenario. It's tough because it nearly doubled. I might go back to 0% profit, especially since I bought some here. So there you have it. I think it's a great opportunity. And then there's a lot of talk about Ethereum. I don't have any yet today. For now, I'm still focused, especially if Casper drops below 12. My priority is to invest small amounts in that. And Ethereum, as I said, below 1.20 would be great. It came from 19 cents. So I think we should be patient and wait for one last dip before entering, because even short term, it's at 1/10 of its price from 18 months ago. So we should wait for a final breakdown, a last capitulation, maybe similar to what Bitcoin might do. Now, Arweave is interesting. I recently mentioned it was hanging by a thread and it's completely crashing now. Look, when you see big green candles followed by rapid drops, It means it exploded so fast it didn't establish any resistance. There'll be no support until that level. So R-Weave might be the next big opportunity. I'm watching it closely. Around $15 is a great entry point. I think it won't go lower. Unfortunately, between $18 and $15, there's not much to something that can hold the price at the slightest wind. It could drop, and there'll be a great opportunity. Not just yet. I wanted to end with render because it's quite shocking. It's been a while since we've seen it, and we're almost back to a year ago. We see Tau's explosion and Nvidia's explosion as it's becoming practically the world's top market cap. I'm shocked. Is there a problem with render? If not, it's today's opportunity for me. So that's all from me. Have a good day, and I'll see you very soon.